All right, as you can see, Group 8 qualifying, and I'm joined in the booth by Carl Moses. I'll put your headphones on. We're all running around from AWS, and he's all plowed up with the hat, the jacket, and everything. You've got the gear.
Well, I've got the gear because I just came from Indianapolis. We are running, I actually run an SRO GT America and GT2 just out there running for end of year for our championship. So coming here, it's quite an amazing spectacle we've got going on here.
What do you think of the event? First of all, we're going to get to Group 8 in a minute, and I'll talk to you as much as you know about that. But
oh, yeah.
What about this Velocity Invitational? It's different, and it's unique.
It's very unique because you have such a spectrum of cars, everything from very, very vintage cars all the way to some really modern cars. And the technology that you're actually also on display here, from everything from Lucid and a lot of the different car companies. It's pretty amazing, and the atmosphere is truly electric. Everything's just everybody's just very happy to see what's going on.
Well, we're about to see the action from they're just going on with their warm-up lap of Group 8.
Yeah.
And I was just saying before you sat down that, you know, and I know you'll know your history a little bit, but these little cars are what also brought so much fame to Trans Am in the early days. Obviously, the muscle cars, sort of the American muscle cars, is what Trans Am became synonymous for. But also these production cars that really held their own, did their bit in, you know, in the B-Sedans and the C-Sedans at the SCCA.
Absolutely. So that's very familiar with the SCCA and a lot of the different cars that are out here, because some of them are still actually running in SCCA in the GT3 class and things like that. But yeah.
So give me your take on racing. Where did you get involved in this crazy business?
So got in back in 2000. Bought an Audi 1.8T A4, and it came with a Quattro Club membership. And I went to a track day when VIR, Virginia International Raceway, first reopened again. And from that, kind of caught the bug. And then it was escalated after that and raced SCCA for national championships and stuff like that. And in more recent time, the last 5 years or so, been running with the SRO, GT4, TCR, GT3, and GT2 most recently. So every year I seem to change classes and cars.
And am I right in saying SRO are also getting a Toyota 86 one-make championship next year?
Yes, absolutely.
So growing all the time.
Always growing. Single spec class next year with Toyota, and I think that's gonna bring yet another draw of a different demographic to the paddock. So it's been a great series for us. AWS is title sponsor for World Challenge as well as GT America. So Greg Gill and the team over there are doing a great job continuing to grow the series.
Yeah, no question about it. Well, I'm glad to say the sun is coming out. It's still pretty windy here, so we're hanging on to our hats here as we look at the corkscrew. And we're just getting ready for our Group 8. And I love this because this is what, late 60s, early 70s, Alfa Romeos, Datsuns, the sort of mix between the Japanese, the European cars and the odd American car thrown in, but mainly basically Europe versus Japan.
Yeah, absolutely. And they put on quite a battle. I see the odd VW Beetle that's there out there as well. So that's going to be interesting to see a single bug doing battle with all of the Porsches and 510 Datsuns that are out there.
I had Adam Carolla in here earlier. He's out there in the 510 Datsun, and so we're going to keep an eye on him.
Oh yes.
He said he was mid-pack, so we'll keep an eye on how he gets on. Away we go then. Group 8, 1966 to 79, under 2 liter Trans Am, 2.5 challenge, SCCA, B and C sedan. Whoa, bit of grass tracking. He's off to the beach at Monterey. That would be known as a slice at Pebble Beach.
There you go. He's mowing the lawn if there was any grass to be found.
Grass out there, yeah. A little bit of grass tracking at Laguna Seca, but away we go. Into turn 3, the car's already spreading out. And it was amazing. You get such a smorgasbord from Datsun to BMW to Alfa Romeo, and yet they're all so equally matched and looking similar in size and displacement. That's why it performed and created such great racing.
Yeah, and you can see the top 4 or 5 cars are, split between the various different makes and models. Everything from BMWs, Porsches, obviously the Nissans as well. So it's, 2002 there is looking pretty sweet.
Yeah, and I think in many ways, the Japanese, when they came with one mission. I think when BMW and Porsche came over, it was kind of almost like, well, you know, I'm Sterling Moss, I'll take my Jaguar over to Pebble Beach. Yeah. There was no real sort of manufacturer Jaguar going to America.
Right.
Whereas when Datsun came, they came with a mind to sell the car, and they came to compete, and they came to sell on Monday. And I think everybody woke up at that time and went, we should be doing this, including the American manufacturers.
Yes, without a doubt. And I mean, I think that was, like you said, the wake-up call, but it also meant that the competition all of a sudden, at first Nissan completely dominated, but then everybody else started stepping their game up. So that really brought to us some of the best racing, I think, in some of the iconic series over the years, especially in Trans Am.
So away we go, and a great start. We're starting to get some gaps, but not many, I may add. That's the 88. Yeah, that's the BMW, 1968 BMW Jim Frohler at the wheel in about, what, 4th place?
Not bad, not bad. Well, where's Adam? Let's Adam Carolla. He's out there. I'm trying to look. 90, I believe. It's a white.
Yep.
510.
That's a 510. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at this, side by side into 4, into 5. Excuse me.
Yeah.
And that was the 63, just going at the high and wide line there. The white Ford Escort twin cam from 1968. Todd Willing, and God willing, as it were, at the front.
Well, this pretty tight racing compared to some of the racing we've seen today. I mean, you have throw a blanket over your top 5, 6 cars.
Yeah, awesome. Really, really good. I mean, it's been a great spectacle for racing here this weekend, and I think that's, I mean, Jeffrey O'Neill kind of set it all in motion earlier in the day. He had a wheel-to-wheel with another Ferrari, and I think everybody went, okay, gloves are off, that's how we're racing, let's do it.
Yeah, Jeff definitely set the stage for a lot of the races we had after that, and you'd expect nothing less from Jeff.
Now, that all-orange BMW there, the 18 in the middle of your shot there, the orange and yellow, that's a 510. From 1970, Richard Stuart Mill at the wheel, just behind that Porsche, the number 68 of Alan Benjamin. Alan came in here earlier this weekend, had a chat with us about his car, so it's pedaling along nicely in about 4th place, just ahead of this number 18.
Yeah, they all seem to be, you don't see huge gaps forming, so bodes well for the end of the race here to have a close finish.
Yep. So it's Todd Willing leading from Rob Fuller, Jim Frohler in 3rd position, Alan Benjamin in 4th, the man I was just talking about, and here's Richard Stuart Mill in that number 18, currently in 5th position, Tim Brecht in 6th at the moment.
Yeah, still top 4 or 5 are all close to at least top 4 or 5, lagging a little bit, but they're all staying there together. Obviously, they're all vying to be there at the start of the race tomorrow.
Yeah, that's the other thing. You don't want to do anything that depletes the opportunity of not getting to race tomorrow. And I just said that. Commentator's blind, as off goes the 63. I had to do it, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
The Ford Escort goes off in big style. Todd Willing, I think that was, sadly, the man who was leading. Oh, well, I did it. My fault. I'll blame myself for that one.
Yes, the commentator's curse. Always.
The commentator's curse.
You couldn't barely get it out of your mouth, and he was already going.
I love it.
Yeah, that looked like a braking issue there, because he shot off pretty hard.
Yeah, and Laguna's not the thing is, amazing is that you put, this is historic racing, but it's probably one of the most challenging tracks in America as well.
Absolutely.
So it's one of those tracks that really wants to make you work to go fast.
Yeah, and when you go off, you get to find all the gravel and all of that fun stuff, and then bring a little bit of it back on if you happen to make your way back to the track. Makes it difficult for everybody thereafter.
No kidding. Well, we're going to have quite a change of leadership, I think, at the front. Clover Plastics, that's another part of this, If you're wondering how they get their liveries, they're basically the liveries that they ran in the day. So that's another big part of this, is they want to run them as identical to how they were when they first came to race for the first time.
Yeah, true historic vintage racing with these cars. And talking to Jeff earlier today, that's what he really wants to have out here, is to have that authenticity of the cars that are racing and being, displayed out here, displayed in the right way, at speed, going down the straightaway.
Now the car you were looking at, that 1971 510 Datsun all yellow, was a Dave Friesen Datsun 510 B-Sedan race car that won the Central Division Championship in 72 and 73 for SCCA B-Sedans, and the National Championship in 73. And the car was then purchased and driven by Keith Bowman in the runoffs in 74, 75, 76, and 77. So SCCA runoffs, it's had plenty of time doing the runoffs as that car.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're looking at these cars and you're thinking how long ago they were in their heyday, 40, 50 years almost in some cases ago, that you've had these cars out there running in the SCCA runoffs for the national championships. Quite an amazing thing to see them still on the track today with all the years in between.
And there's our man Adam Carroll, a bit of a celebrity in his own right.
Yeah.
A movie maker, a producer, a podcast man extraordinaire. He's made a fortune on his podcast. I stupidly, well, not stupidly, but I said, how's the podcast going? And he goes, pretty good. Yeah, I read the figures the other day. I got a podcast that's making nowhere near that.
Yeah.
Love him, though. He was good fun. He spent some time here. Clearly loves his racing. I was here with him in June. I didn't get to talk to him there because he was only here for the day, because he slid off and damaged a Trans Am car he was racing in the wet. And I felt for him because they really wanted him to be part of the event, and he wanted to try out a real Trans Am car. It wasn't an historic one; it was a modern day car. So
yes.
And he just slid off on a little bit of water. But yeah, great to have him here, and he's done a lot for the industry and continues to be a huge part of motorsport in America. Go and check out Adam Carolla's movies, up in particular. He's also got one coming out about Dan Gurney, he was telling me about, and also one on Bobby Rahal. So have a look at the portfolio of Adam Carolla, as we are now under caution, and I think that might well be for the car that went awry.
Yeah, we never did see that one again.
Yeah. I think it's the 63 of our man that had been leading, and that was, of course, Todd Willing, but sadly, he's gone off.
Yeah, well, that you say, Adam took the car off in the wet, and a modern Trans Am car is not a great rain racing car with all that torque and horsepower from their NASCAR-style engines. They're very capable cars in the dry, very fast, but in the rain, they're quite the handful. I've had a chance to drive one, unfortunately, in the damp, and it's much rather to do so in the dry.
Rob Fuller now leading in the 71 510 Datsun. Car number 72, the silver, blue, and red at the front, and just following around the pace car as we're under caution here in our first qualifying race for Group 8. The sun is shining here at Laguna Seca. Finally, I can say that. I've been waiting all day for the sun to shine, but it is now. It's still a little bit cloudy, a little bit breezy and windy, but it's a beautiful day here, and Velocity Invitational is in full throng, no question about it, at the famous Laguna Seca. Enjoying it?
It's an amazing event. I've actually, it's my first time here, not my first time at Laguna, but first time at the Velocity Invitational. And it's been amazing. It really, just walking around the paddock and seeing the cars. And the nice thing is every one of the owners or teams that are actually running these cars are open to you walking right up, talking with them. They actually want you to. They're all, it's like a cars and coffee, but on steroids at a racetrack with people that are taking the cars out onto the course. It's, if those of you out there that haven't been able to do it, get out here. We've still got another day. I
know. My niece drove up from San Diego and just saying to me this morning, well, where can we go? Where can we be? And I said, anywhere. And I said, just enjoy yourselves. Go and talk to some folks. If you like to see a car, go talk to them about their car. They want to talk to you about it. And I think that's the inclusivity, the fact that we've got our commentary booth right out here by the fuel pumps. I love it.
Right.
It's part of the occasion. We want to bring motor racing to the people. And I think in the modern day and age of NASCAR, IndyCar, and Formula One, We may have lost that a little bit, but I think they're beginning to understand that you can't do that. You need to bring it as close. It's a dangerous sport. You need to be safe. But at the same time, where you can, and if you can do it safely, to bring it closer to the people so they can smell the fuel, so they can touch the metal, and they can get an understanding for the excitement that we get out of being around this sport is great.
Absolutely, and that's, I think, one of the biggest things is being able to get people up close to the cars actually starts to breed and bring the next generation of racers or race fans out there. And that's in our SRO races. That's one of the things that we have an open paddock, so you can walk right next to the garages. A lot of times they'll have ropes up just so that you don't get in harm's way. But whenever my team ever sees kids or otherwise people that really are, true race fans that want to get closer, we'll bring the kids in, set them in the car, take pictures, because quite honestly, every kid that we bring in and do that with is a race fan for life, guaranteed. Because I know that's what happened with me many years ago, and I think that if you can continue to do that, that's how we bring motorsports forward into the new generations.
Yeah, I also think there's been a lot of work. I think motor racing as an industry has woken up in the last few years about the inclusion of it. We'll talk more about that because Taylor's now with Tanner Faust. Let's head down to Taylor.
I am down here, and behind me is this car. Tanner's going to tell me a little bit about driving it on this legendary racetrack.
Well, this is the F1 GTR. It's a 96 chassis. It finished 5th at Le Mans. I think one of the first supercars. Ron Dennis penciled this thing for McLaren back in the 90s, and it still holds its weight against modern supercars, which is incredible. It really is a rolling piece of history. And this morning I actually got to drive the F1 McLaren, the MP4-5, and I've never driven anything like that, so nothing as historic as that. So it was an absolute pleasure. I'm absolutely out of my skin today.
What's that?
For this weekend, my first time at Velocity Invitational. Just absolutely loving it.
Absolutely, and you're no stranger to other vehicles behind the wheel. I remember that double loop you did. I mean, you're an action sports, motorsports legend, I think, in my eyes. And so how is it being out here with these other legends of F1, IndyCar, all of these other great sports?
I mean, I followed Mario Andretti in Formula One cars this morning. It's like, thank goodness you got some cameras here, because nobody would believe it if I told them the story. It is just incredible. Okay. I don't know if I'm more nervous doing a big loop for Hot Wheels or a jump for Hot Wheels or getting in a $30 million car and trying not to crash it. But it really, I'm pinching myself the whole time I'm here today.
And like you said, it is your first time here at the Velocity Invitational. What a first-class event. Can we see you next year?
Oh, gosh, I hope so. Zach, let's do this. I mean, I noticed a lot of repeat customers here with Pato and Mika. So yeah, I would love to join the list of regulars coming and driving these rolling pieces of history at speed on this iconic track. Yes, please.
All right, well, you heard it from Tanner. We hope to see him next year again, but let's get to racing. These guys have got to get strapped into these cars so we can watch them out on the track. Thank you, Tanner.
Thank you.
And my good buddy Tanner Faust, I apologize because I managed to interrupt him there in the middle of that, because the man who has put this event on, Jeffrey O'Neill, has just joined us, and of course we were chatting, because we were talking racing, but that's what you do at a motor racing event. Jeff, thanks for coming in, and we've still got Carl here with us, but you've got to be pleased with the first day and also the crowd that have voted with their feet. Year 3, are you happy?
We are thrilled. We're overjoyed. Everybody's seems to be having a great time. Families are out, kids are out, girlfriends are out. That's what we wanted. We wanted an event where everybody can come. There's a little something for everybody.
Now, you told me that, that everybody's sensible. If you get crazy out there, you don't get invited back. There was a guy, there was a guy in a Ferrari earlier who was going hell-bent for leather with another Ferrari. Do you know anything about this?
Well, I may know a little bit about it, but
I am referring to your race, of course, which was fantastic. Two fantastic 250s going head-to-head. How much fun was that?
That was about as much fun as one could ever have. Having a short wheelbase and the GTO was just extraordinary. So we had just a super time out there. It was really fun. That's what makes this race special. Cars that are here that the public generally can't see. So they get to come up, see them, hear them, smell them. It's just so unique, and we're just delighted at the crowd that's come out.
You know, everybody who's been in the booth, and we've talked about this to everybody, we all take our hats off to your audacity, if you will, of bringing in the hypercars and saying, I know it's an historic event, but I want technology to be part of this, and I want the future to be part of this. And I think the response has been obvious by the way the fans have gone, wow, that's neat. I didn't expect to see the Zinger, I didn't expect to see the Zenvo, and so on. And I think it's an interesting and unique approach that very few people have taken in the past.
Yeah, look, I think people want to be entertained, and just because a car is brand new doesn't mean it shouldn't be a part of our event. So I think one of the most important things to show everybody is the technology over the last 100 years. And yes, we've got the Zinger, which is now the chassis printed on from an aluminum printer, but we also have an early Bugatti that's got magnesium heads and supercharged and running on methanol. So we have 100 years of technological advancements. You know, you got aluminum, carbon fiber, all the stuff that comes through.
I don't know if you've had a chance, but we also had the autonomous vehicle going backwards and did a complete lap without anybody touching the wheel. Again, a unique moment and something quite special for the fans that they can go and take a closer look at.
Absolutely. I mean, how can you have an event about automobiles and not be talking a little bit about autonomous vehicles? Yeah. And whether it's a delivery truck, whether it's a fun car, whether it's a race car, whether it's helping somebody get around, I mean, that's going to be part of the future of mobility. So we want to really show everybody, all the elements, and I think there's nothing we won't look at.
Listen, we've got Group 8 out here right now. I know you're a busy man. You're running the event. You're racing in about 6 cars. What if you were going to pinpoint somebody who may be listening in San Francisco or maybe out in the crowd today to come and look at? What would you say, hey, you may not expect to see this, but come and have a look at it?
Yeah, I think what people really didn't expect when they got here, and I've had hundreds of people come up to me today, is that they walk in and it's a festival atmosphere. It's very friendly. Everybody's happy. There's great food, wine. You can shop. You can look at amazing cars, historic cars, new cars. I mean, literally, a guy walked up and bought a $585,000 Ferrari about an hour ago. Just got his checkbook out and said, I think I'll take this home.
There you go. Well, the race on Sunday, buy on Monday, buy on Saturday even. I love it. And how about pulling off a unique historical moment in having Mario Andretti drive a McLaren Formula One car?
Oh my gosh, having Mario here, he's such a wonderful person to start with. And then what made it really fun is that started with a conversation with him and Zach about never having driven a turbo hybrid car. And then having him, he's probably getting in it right now, getting ready to go again today. So, I mean, he's a special guy. Having him here is just sensational.
What else are you driving in before you go?
Besides the GTO, I drove the Birdcage. I've got the Parnelli Jones Boss Mustang, and I'm driving a Type 35 Bugatti.
Rumor had it you were in a Mini last night.
And
I've done my research.
one of my friends said, I can't qualify. Will you go out? I said, I've never driven a Mini before. He said, okay, try it.
What do you think?
Try it. So I put him not on pole, but I put him close.
It's the most fun you can have at 60 miles an hour.
It absolutely is. It absolutely
We also
is.
need to see you out there in the Mercedes Black Series GTR. I know it's sitting over there with your name on it. I think Mike Santonis from CrowdStrike is willing to let you give it a go. So if you have an extra track session that you have, I'm sure Mike would be happy to have you out there with it.
I think Mike just might join me out there.
He would love to join you, I'm sure. Absolutely.
Well, listen, thank you, Jeff. Appreciate you coming in. I know you're a busy man. We're in the middle of Group 8. We've had a little bit of a yellow flag situation. We had the 63 go off, but he's okay. That was Todd Willing that went off, but he's okay, and we've got restarted again, and Rob Fuller is leading the way in the last few laps, but a great group.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Jeff.
it. Well, stay with me if you can, Carl.
No, absolutely.
That was Jeff O'Neill, the organizer of the event, just giving us a little soupçon of his day. And he's off to probably suit up again. I don't know if he's got another drive, but he probably is going to suit up again.
Yeah.
So let's get back to this. Rob Fuller leading the way, and we're looking at the 88 at the moment of Jim Frula.
Yep.
In second place at the moment in that absolutely gorgeous golden BMW.
Yeah, and here we are with on the final lap, and you have these two cars that are actually pretty close together, trying to battle it out.
Yeah, this is going all the way. We're going into turn, to 5, the left-hander.
Yeah.
And this race is very much on. Jim is closing the gap on Rob Fuller in the 72. And so, wheel to wheel, Japan versus BMW as kind of scripted. Or as we wanted, put it that way. Yeah, the Datsun 510 leading the way. But will he hold on? Up the hill they go, up the Ray Hall straight, named after Bobby Ray Hall, into the famous corkscrew. A fantastic drop over 5 stories down towards the Rady curve. Just this final lap. Look at this,
Whoa.
side by side, coming down towards Ray and out of Rainey. Who's got this?
It looks, it's hard to call this one right now. The BMW definitely made a last-minute lunge there, but I think the Nissan has the legs to pull it around here and pull it down the front straight.
Tokyo versus Stuttgart, out of 11. Here they come. Come on. Go on, Rob. Hold on. You got this. He's trying to close the door. There's the checkered flag, and he does hold on. Rob Fuller wins then from Jim Frula. A fantastic race in Group 8. My thanks to Jeff O'Neill for coming in as well, the organizer of the event. Alan Benjamin comes across in his Porsche, so somewhat perfect. Datsun, BMW, and Porsche. Line astern, first, second, and third. But our lucid race winner is the 1971 Datsun 510. A cracking race.
Yeah, and it wasn't by much. If you see right there at the line, it looked like it was by about half a car. So the BMW was definitely trying to make it a race right to the line. And that is the kind of racing that you would see from the era where these cars originally ran. So it's great to see it here again some, almost 50 years later.
Well, Carl Moses, thank you so much for coming in. We've got a Formula One demonstration. You can hang out with me and talk Formula One, or I'll try and get somebody else to come and have a chat. But thanks for coming in anyway. But Formula One demonstration coming up very soon indeed. But that concludes our Group 8 running. And once again, my thanks to Jeff O'Neill coming in. You're watching Velocity Invitational here from Laguna Seca. Stay with us. More to come.